Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Argentina, Croatia. Croatia put Lionel Messi and Argentina's World Cup chances up in jeopardy. Why did Argentina struggle? How did Croatia get the better of them? And were they the better side over the entire 90 minutes? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to break down how Argentina fell to Croatia. Argentina, Croatia, the big game of the day. Croatia put Argentina in the verge of getting knocked out of the World Cup. It would be a big disappointment for Lionel Messi and for the nation of Argentina, who are supposed to be a powerhouse in this tournament. However, going into the tournament, we knew how bad they could be, and this was a day that a lot of people may say that, yep, they were that bad. However, in the first half, they did a lot of great things. They changed their system, and they were pretty equal with Croatia until the first goal. How did they do that? When we break things down, we have Argentina switching formations, moving to more of a 3-4-2-1. Aguero up front, Meza and Messi just in behind him. In midfield, they went with Enzo Perez and Mascherano. And as wingbacks, they went with Acuna and they went with Salvio. Croatia, you kind of knew what you were getting from them. It was Mandzukic up front, Rebic and Perisic on the flanks, and in midfield, Modric, Brozovic, and Rakitic. What went right for Argentina? Well, the 4-4-1-1 kind of works in Messi's favor, but it just doesn't look like they have the personnel capable of getting the job done in that system. So Sampaoli once again switched it up. What was beneficial? They pushed the wing backs forward. One of the key aspects to this Croatian side are the wide players. They do involve their wing play and switch things up when their midfield gains control of the game. Here, however, we had Salvio pushing up, so at times it was Rebic and Perisic dropping a bit deeper. At times in the first half, it looked like they were playing a 6-3-1 like Iran was playing. And the thing about it was the wingbacks were contributing to what Argentina was doing very well. You look at some of the chances that they had, it's just the center backs pushing forward, a ball over the top for Acuna. What happens is that his pullback isn't good, but it falls to Enzo Perez. It falls to Enzo Perez, who is pushed forward, and what happens is that he clips the ball over for Messi. Messi should control it. It's just a bit overhit. He wasn't able to poke his effort on goal. The other aspect was Messi drifting wide, finding space behind Strinic. You have Salvio pushing into the half space, pulls it back for Meza. Meza should score, he doesn't. What they were doing with their wingbacks was very good. They were getting them involved. They were pushing the wide players deeper into their half, and that was pivotal for Argentina. When we look at other aspects of that Argentinian attack in the first half, one of the worries was that Aguero wasn't getting on the ball. And this is the problem with Aguero, and this is possibly why Gonzalo Higuain should start, and this is why Mauro Icardi isn't there. Mauro Icardi doesn't offer enough in build-up play, doesn't do enough. He's pretty lazy, great goal scorer, doesn't do that much off the ball. That's why he's not there. Aguero, a fantastic finisher, but everything else about his game isn't really there, and it's been that way for some time. There was only one play that really summed things up for Aguero when Caballero picked up the ball with his hands in his box, clipped the ball instantly into the left channel. Aguero was able to bring it down, but they need him to run in behind space, and that is not the issue here. So he was isolated up front, not doing much, and this is why you need Higuain, someone who could bring down the ball with his chest, link play, get midfielders and Messi involved. That wasn't the case here, so he was starved. The other reason Messi was starved is he was playing a bit higher, and what happens is that the midfield of Brozovic, Rakitic, and Modric did very well in terms of clogging that space in midfield. Often when Messi picked up the ball, you had Brozovic tracking his run. At times in the second half more so, you had Brozovic and Rakitic tracking his run. And when he dropped deeper, you had Rakitic pushing forward, ensuring that he had to beat him to get forward. And that was a big issue. And what happened in the first half was that Argentina wasn't able to get the ball into Messi. And this was the theme of the game. And the reason why was that with the back three, they're looking to push them forward, but On that hand, Croatia wasn't allowing that to happen because of the way they pressed. They pushed Mandzukic forward to get on one ball carrier. Rakitic and Modric were pushing forward as well. And even though you had Mascherano dropping into deeper positions, sometimes building a back four, they could gamble with Rebic or Perisic tucking in. So that was a big struggle for Argentina's backline. They were forced into a few errors and nervy moments, but the main theme was that because that press was there, they weren't able to get balls into Messi. And even when the press wasn't there, when they dropped deeper into more of their 4-5-1 like they wanted to, they just don't have the ball players capable of finding Messi in that space. And what does that lead to? Messi dropping deeper. And that's what a lot of people are complaining about with Iceland. So he didn't do that. He dropped a bit deeper. He stayed up high, but they couldn't get balls to him unless he drifted out into the flank to get involved, and that was a big issue for Argentina. On the other hand, Argentina stopped Croatia from really pushing the ball forward and stopping Modric, Brozovic, and Rakitic from gaining control of the game. We saw against Nigeria what they did was when they were trying to build out of the back, they had Modric and Rakitic pushing out into wider areas. They were getting on the ball from deep and dictating the tempo of the game, playing triangles, passing and moving. That didn't happen here. Because they had the front three, you had Aguero, you had Messi, and you had Meza, and this happened as the half wore on, pressing forward, and then what happened was that they had two midfielders, whether it be Modric or Rakitic, and they had Perez and Mascherano pushing forward, the wingbacks pushing a bit higher, and that was why Croatia struggled to really gain control of the game in midfield. But what happens is that obviously as the game wears on, they're going to get on the ball, and where did they target? We saw it in the early stages. The problem with this Argentinian XI was the fact that there was space in the channels just in behind the wingbacks because the wingbacks were pushing so forward. And this is one of the reasons why a lot of people are asking, why not play Dybala? You're playing wide players in these positions that are attacking players. They're not really defensive minded. And they're pushed up so high. So when Croatia did get chances in the first half, you think about Perisic in the earlier stages, running into that space, running at Mercado, forcing Caballero into a save. You think about Rebic almost getting forward with Modric playing a ball in behind and him breaking free, but he couldn't really get the ball forward, and his chance was missed there. But that was where they were finding the avenues, in the channels, in behind the wingbacks that were so advanced and they're pushing forward. But in going into halftime, 0-0, you think Argentina did well, Messi, Aguero aren't involved, and Croatia isn't dominating or creating any legitimate, consistent waves of chances. However, in the second half, the same thing kind of applied. Messi and Aguero were kind of getting more involved. And one of the plays that stemmed was Messi drifting out wide, picking up the ball, getting past two defenders. You had Tagliafico pushing forward, and he plays the ball into Aguero, who rolls his defender but can't get a shot on goal. What happens after that? Caballero's error changes the game. Now they have to push forward. And what changes do they make? They bring on Pavon. What happens is that Meza ends up dropped. They bring on Pavon, he pushes forward, that's one change, and he's a wing back. They end up bringing on Dybala, and they end up dropping Meza into midfield. They bring on Higuain, but what was the problem here was that, again, now this gave Croatia more incentive to drop a bit deeper. It gave them more reason to have two markers on Messi. Messi was dropping a bit deeper, not really getting on the ball. You look at the best chances that Argentina created once they went down. It's combination down the left, and it's Perez playing the ball into Higuain, making a run that Aguero wouldn't make into that half space, pulling it back for Meza. His shot is saved, and then Rakitic comes to stop Messi from scoring the tap in. You think about Messi again drifting wide, clipping across into the box for Higuain that you can't do with Aguero, and he chests it down to Dybala. Dybala curls his effort wide. We didn't get much from Dybala throughout the game. He was playing out wide, trying to cut in. At times, he was delivering crosses when no one was in the box, and that was the problem, was that as the game wore on, Higuain was the only man in the box. Their heads went down. They weren't creating any chances. Messi was dropping deeper and deeper, and when he was forward, again, no supply to him. And for Croatia, as they push forward, more counterattacks in those channels. Kramaric came on, and they were pushing forward, and eventually they get Modric's finisher, basically that seals the game, and then another counterattack to ice it all off. Croatia are going on to possibly win the group, but when you break it all down, like they against Nigeria, not that great overall, but eventually they get some luck, they get the goal, and the midfield's able to control the game, and they have the pace to break on the counter. Whereas for Argentina, new system worked, but they weren't getting supplies into Messi, and he's the pure creator in the side, and they weren't getting balls into Aguero, who had a poor game. And when you look at it as a whole, with the wingbacks pushing forward, they were always susceptible to counterattacks, and once they went down, they were vulnerable to it, and eventually they paid. But let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.